Hi guys, my name is Kimberly Lyons, and today we're going to talk about safety in the workplace. If you have any questions, please feel free to email me or contact me at klyons@scasphalt.org. I would be more than happy to answer any questions that you may have. Just a brief overview of some topics that we're going to go over today. We're going to talk about some definitions, some regulations and standards, causes of slip, trips, and falls, conditions where slip, trips, and falls occur, behaviors for preventing them in the workplace, how to fix unsafe conditions, as well as some additional topics we're going to go over is climbing and descending ladders, entering and exiting equipment safely, the dangers of outdoor slip, trips, and falls, as well as how to wear your proper PPE, which stands for personal protection equipment. The first thing I like to go over is to be alert. Being alert in the workplace, even at home, can reduce the number of injuries. This is a good example. You have the lady in the back that is mopping the floor. She's put out her caution wet floor sign. And if you're in a hurry to go to a meeting or to leave work because you have to pick your daughter up from dance, you may not have paid the sign any attention. Well, walking fastly and not paying attention over a wet floor, especially on tile or concrete, can cause someone to fall. And I will say that if we can all be alert today, tomorrow, and the day after in the workplace, we can really help reduce these number of workplace accidents. So what is a slip? A slip occurs when there is too little traction or friction between the shoe and the walking surface. A trip occurs when a person's foot contacts an object in a way or drops to a lower level unexpectedly, causing them to be thrown off balance. And a fall occurs when you are too far off your center of balance, either at the same level or a lower level. So let's talk about some accidents in the workplace that you personally can think of. Let's all take a moment to think about any accidents or injuries you have seen resulting from slip, trips, and falls. So what is the last accident that you've seen at work? Could it have been prevented easily just by paying attention? I'll give you an example. We had a guy carrying concrete cylinders off-site back into our lab. And when he went by there on this concrete pad, there was this gooey stuff, but he paid it no attention on the surface. So he went and got an armful of concrete cylinders and started walking back to his truck to bring them to the lab. Well, he walks right back through it, slips, and throws his back out. Well, now he's out for 4 weeks. And it easily could have been prevented. Are there any behaviors you have observed that could have resulted? So let's talk about his behaviors, right? He could have easily prevented it by, when he walked by the first time, let a foreman know that there was something to put a sign out. He could have walked a different way himself coming back, but that wouldn't have helped the next guy who walked through it not paying attention. So my bottom line is that in the workplace, a lot of these accidents happen from us just not having enough time or not wanting to deal with it. And it's really up to us together as a team to make a difference. You may not fall because you see it, but the next guy may. And so not only is it up to you to notice and be careful, but also help prevent the next guy behind you from getting hurt. Here are some regulations and standards that come out to help us or protect us in the workplace. You have your OSHA General Duty Clause. You have your standards for walking and working surfaces. You have your guidelines for occupational foot protection. as well as your standard for the provision of slip resistance on walking and working surfaces. You can see that that's a main item here, as well as the standard practice for safe walking surfaces, your guidelines for footwear, as well as your life safety code, and individual state building codes within each state. But what good are all these regulations and standards if we're not willing to follow them or pay attention? So let's get into what causes slips in the workplace. Items left on the floor, walking from one surface to another. An example of that could be going from tile to carpet, carpet to tile. You have your sloped surfaces, loose rugs or mats, especially at the entrance and exits of most buildings. Your ramps that are without any kind of slip resistant surfaces, which honestly you see more of than not here in South Carolina. Footwear with wet soles, whether it's due to raining or, as we talked about earlier, someone's mopping or maybe someone spilled something on the floor, as well as improper footwear for the type of job that you're doing. You always want to make sure that you're wearing the correct footwear. If you're going to be out working, you probably want to wear work boots with a good grip pattern, as well as a safety, as well as a steel toe for safety. But if you're in the office a lot, you probably want to wear a dress shoe. However, you want to make sure that the soles of the shoe have some kind of grip to them in case you do walk through something that's wet or you're going from one surface to another, to help prevent slips in the workplace. So what are some causes of trips and falls in the workplace? Items or obstacles on the floor, changes in elevation. We used to have one in our lab where you had to step down 6 inches to get to the cold bath. Several people would get hurt because even though they knew it was there, they misjudged it or wasn't paying attention, was in a hurry. Rumpled or rolled up floor mats, damaged or uneven steps, uneven surfaces, and floor drain covers missing or not in place. Now, what conditions cause slip, trips, and falls in the workplace? You can have poor lighting where you can't really see what's on the floor or right in front of you. You can have on your wrong personal protection equipment. Again, improper footwear, improper cleaning methods and products. You never want to put something like WD-40 on a floor, especially a concrete floor or a tile floor. Improper cleaning methods. I worked in an asphalt lab where you use WD-40 to clean up your asphalt off of the tables. And sometimes when we got new guys in to the lab, they would spray the whole counter down with WD-40, which is fine. However, they weren't paying attention that some of it would get on the floor and they wouldn't clean it up with alcohol. So then not only do you have your concrete with your shoes, that can cause a slip hazard, but now you have WD-40, which is slippery on the floor, and it doesn't just dry up. So you really have to be careful and make sure that you're using the proper cleaning methods and products for the surfaces that you have. And then you're not creating an even more problem. Inadequate missing signage happens more often than not. And so we really have to think about these conditions and how we can help prevent slip, trips, and falls in the workplace. So here are some of the behaviors that can cause you to slip, trip, or fall. Carrying or moving cumbersome equipment or objects or moving too many objects at one time. We've all done it. You're not paying attention, again, because you're in a hurry. You're taking shortcuts, not using designated walkways. We're in a hurry and rushing, which mainly could be the reason why we're not paying attention and we're taking shortcuts. Or we're carrying too many objects at one time. And you're not paying attention to the posted signage. Or you're entering unauthorized or restricted areas. Maybe because it is a shortcut, or maybe because you're not paying attention. And all of these behaviors we can control individually. So just a summary really quick. Slip, trips, and falls can be caused by unsafe conditions and unsafe behaviors, both of which you can help control. Behaviors for preventing slip, trips, and falls in the workplace. Do not hurry. Take your time. Watch where you're walking. Walk, never run. Always try to stay alert and really pay attention to what's going on. And take extra care when you're carrying objects. I know everyone's seen the commercial where the guy tries to take in the groceries all in one load. When we're in the workplace, we want to take as little trips as possible. However, let's try to take time and carry the objects that we're not over exerting ourselves. That way we can watch where we're walking. You never want to run or walk fast when you're carrying objects, and you always want to stay alert. And always pay attention to environmental conditions. You also want to use your handrails on stairs when you're going up and down. Use care when walking from one surface to another. And always wear your proper footwear. That can help reduce greatly. Maintain good housekeeping. Even if you didn't create the mess, but no one's cleaned it up, alert the proper authorities in your workplace, or either clean it up yourself. Don't just assume the next person behind you will clean it up. Use care on ladders. So fixing unsafe conditions to prevent. You really want to take action to eliminate hazards or prevent future hazards. If you cannot fix the unsafe conditions, immediately report the area, alert others in your area, and mark the area or stay there until help arrives. So let's talk about descending and climbing ladders. You always want to have a good handhold before stepping up or down. You always want to place your foot on the step or rung just in front of your heel / under your arch. And always make sure you have 3 points of contact. Both feet in a hand, 2 hands in a foot, to really help prevent you from falling off the ladder. Never stand on the ladder at the top. As you can see here, your do's: only use a safety ladder or step route in a safe environment at a firm level base, one you have inspected before. Lean at approximately 75 degrees from horizontal, only for light work. Make sure you always have 3 points of contact, in no more than 30 minutes. You don't. On a ladder or step rail, do not overload or carry loads on ladders. Overreach. Have more than one person on a ladder at a time. Stand ladders on movable objects or uneven ground. Extended ladders while standing on the rungs. Or use the top 2 steps on either of a ladder or a step ladder. And if you follow these very easily, the safety etiquette for ladders, it can really reduce your chance of getting hurt in the workplace. Now let's talk about entering and exiting equipment safely. You always want to clean your footwear of mud and paint and grease and other contaminations. You want to make sure your running board, thread, your step, foothold, or platform of equipment are always clean and dry of any contaminations. Always face equipment when you're entering and exiting, and always place your foot on the step or hold just in front of your heel or under your arch. And you want to maintain, as we talked about with our ladder, your 3-point contact at all times while getting onto and off of equipment until reaching ground, cab, or stable platform. 3-point contact examples. You have one hand, 2 feet, 2 hands, 1 foot. You want to step down or up carefully while facing equipment, and do not jump off when entering or exiting a bed of a truck or other part of the equipment. Now I'm going to talk about a little bit of your outdoor slips, trips, and fall dangers. When you're outdoors, the surfaces are going to change. Equipment can change. People are coming and walking. You have to be careful. You have your gravel. You have your mud, wet grass, or even just objects that you know are there, like this parking bumper, that when you're walking across in a hurry to get things done outside, you may not pay attention to. But it's dangerous. And then you want to wear your proper foot equipment. And wearing the right footwear for your work environment will help to prevent and reduce slip, trips, and fall incidents. Footwear should fit snugly and comfortably. Keep your footwear clean and in good condition at all times. Inspect regularly for any damage. Repair and replace worn or defective footwear. And replace shoes or replace soles before they become worn or smooth. And just a reminder that accidents in the workplace are preventable. If you're paying attention, you be proactive, and you be careful, you can really help prevent an injury to yourself or others. Now, are you protected? We're going to talk about some personal safety equipment. As you can see, you want to wear your hard hat, your safety vest, your boots, and depending on what you're doing, you're going to want to wear your safety glasses, your hearing protection, and your gloves. And if you're going to be near fumes, you want to make sure you wear your safety mask. Or, as of right now, we have COVID, and a lot of companies are requiring you to wear safety masks. And if you're going to be above 6 feet off the dirt, you should have on a harness. And that is if you fall, you don't get hurt. But you also, if you're exactly 6 feet off the ground, you don't want to have your harness 6 feet long. So you want to pay attention and make sure that your harness is adjusted in length depending on the length you are from the ground.